Hi, I'm EllaAradia and welcome to your October 2025 Psychic Tarot reading. This reading is for my Aries fire signs, where we'll be exploring the overall energies and themes for the month ahead, as well as taking a deeper dive into how these might be playing out for you in your life. This is a general reading, so it's going to resonate a little bit differently for all of you. Although what I do find is there's always a shared theme that runs through the collective of all of you Aries signs. So take what feels aligned to you and just leave the rest. And before we jump in, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you can get notified when the next videos are up. So Aries, let's jump in. I feel like this is going to be a reading around not being afraid to cut ties with people, places or situations which are unhealthy or toxic in some way, because when I look into the energies, I just see these kind of like shadows around you, Aries, which to me represent, these unhealthy connections to certain, people or situations in your life. And I do feel there are some lessons here in not remaining in something that, really feels unhealthy or toxic in some way, just to perhaps have a sense of acceptance or approval or keeping the harmony or whatever that is. Because there is an invitation here, Aries, for you to really honor and acknowledge your truth and who you are now. And sometimes I do feel that does involve perhaps cutting ties with, people, places, situations which you no longer feel in alignment with. So with your overall energies, we have Judgment, which is all about a life review, and it's also a call to accountability. It's about looking at your part to play in the experiences that you're having. And exactly what I was just saying, the invitation for you to, really stand in your truth and stand more strongly in who you are. And not being afraid to, let go of something or somebody, because this is what Judgment is all about. It's about learning from the past, understanding the lessons of the experiences that we have, and really looking at, what do you let go of and what do you take with you moving forwards. And this is very much the point that I see many of you at the moment. And in your recent past, the Six of Pentacles, and this is a card that speaks of these energies of give and take, giving and receiving, and the balance of, these dynamics, in the connections that you have or whatever your situation is. I often think of this as the breadcrumb card, where, one person is putting in much more than the other, and it's just really not being reciprocated. And with your current energies, we have the King of Swords. So for those of you that this relates to love, I feel like this is the individual that you're dealing with. King of Swords, someone who is a deep thinker and tends to process a lot of things much more on a mental level. Someone who, could be in a leadership role, someone who's, tends to make their decisions based on, the facts of a situation. And someone who really processes their feelings much more through their thoughts. And with your feelings towards your situation, the Wheel of Fortune, this is a card of change. It's about, cycles, endings, beginnings. It's usually the card I associate with, you know, divine timings and orchestrations, you know, these karmic cycles, because I do feel that, you know, the individual that you're dealing with here, you know, there is very much a sense of, you know, a soul contract, soul lessons, and some kind of feeling of it being a kind of karmic connection of some sort. And that doesn't always mean, you know, that it's some amazing love story, but it can be a deep connection. But I definitely feel, you know, what's at play here are these soul lessons that I was talking about. Because there is something, you know, with this Six of Pentacles that I feel you're not receiving, you know, from this person. And to me, it feels like the energies of support in some way. And for many of you, that may well be much more on an emotional level. And of course, the King of Swords is not so much a person that really leads with their feelings. And I feel for some of you, there is a little bit of drama going on here, because I'm seeing, you know, harsh words that have been spoken, which I feel is also perhaps a little bit the shadow side of this King of Swords. And I just keep hearing the message here that hurt people. And I feel that whoever you're dealing with is really still carrying a lot of wounds from their past, unhealed wounds, issues. And a real challenge, a real difficulty to have real, honest, open conversations. Which of course is, you know, when this card is in balance, is what the King of Swords does. And they lead with, you know, that communication with wisdom and integrity. But to me, I feel like we're dealing with a little bit of a shadow side of this card. So what lies in your challenge is the Eight of Wands. So some kind of, you know, action that needs to be taken here, because this is all about movement, energy moving. And for any of you that are in some kind of no contact situation here, you know, this is a sign that channels are open. So there may be some contact, there may be some messages coming in. But I feel in the challenge position, you know, that is where the difficulty lies. Making some kind of movement, expressing a truth, you know, whatever that might be. And with your hidden influence, we have the moon. So there's a real kind of lack of clarity around this situation for you, Aries. And, you know, the moon sometimes can represent deception and things that are being hidden. It also represents, you know, our subconscious fears and insecurities, which I feel is definitely something, you know, that is coming into play, you know, with whoever, you know, this King of Swords is. An inability to, you know, really look at and acknowledge, you know, whatever their fears are and insecurities are around opening up to a more loving, reciprocal connection with you. And instead of that, I'm just feeling, you know, this toxicity and these harsh words that are being spoken here. And of course, for some of you, this may relate to, you know, home or the workplace, to a certain individual in that sense. And like I was saying at the beginning, you know, there's always this shared theme, and that theme can, you know, show up in a lot of different ways in a lot of different areas of your life, to different, you know, degrees, intensities, but the theme is the same. And the big question here that I feel, you know, unless that healthy communication can start to happen here, Aries, you know, it may be a moment to really perhaps cut ties and embrace, you know, this change, this invitation of the ending of a cycle, the beginning of a new one, the completion of, you know, whatever this karmic connection is and the lessons that are being learnt here. Because the cost to you, you know, if that's something that really can't happen, the cost of staying in something, you know, unhealthy or toxic is really a compromise on your truth and your true needs. And that's really what is, you know, at stake here, Aries. And with your guidance from the universe, we have the Nine of Swords, and you know, this is often a card where we just get super stuck in our head. There's a lot of anxiety, worry, you know, going, you know, round and round and back over past conversations and things like that. And in the advice position, I feel like this is a message, Aries, to drop out of your mind and into your heart and really listen to, you know, what your heart has to say in all of this, to listen to the truth of your heart rather than, you know, really trying to, you know, work things out in your head. So it really is about following your intuition, and with your potential outcome, some kind of new beginning. So the universe bringing in, you know, a new path for you to walk, whether that is in career, location, a new path to walk that, you know, leads you into a place of, you know, more expansion, you know, showing up in a way in which you are more aligned with who you truly are, honouring your truth and your true genuine needs here, Aries. And next to that, we have the Two of Swords. So there is a choice to be made here. And it may be one, you know, that's difficult, that you're avoiding. And, you know, this is why, you know, there is this advice from the universe to drop more into your heart and listen to your inner wisdom, you know, because this is the kind of choice which, you know, really does impact, you know, your path moving forwards with this Ace of Pentacles. You know, it's the kind of decision which, you know, can really change your life path. And the most important thing here, I feel, is to really listen to that inner wisdom, because it won't lead you astray. It will always lead you closer to, you know, what you truly want for your life and what you deserve. So Aries, I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels best for you. So thanks so much for being here, Aries, and I wish you a great month ahead.